At the end of 2020, I had a realization that when I made it seemed so obvious that there were barriers towards this obvious realization being made. So I'm going to go through my journey in discovering this realization and the 5 barriers that I overcame in order to make this realization and come to grips with the truth. But first, welcome to Tingledom. Now, before we get into what my first barrier was, this is a Tingledom community video, which means me speaking directly to you rather than in a role play. So this is the time for my thank yous for my commenters. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and check this out and you can find out what that's all about. For my commenters, your thank you will be coming at the end of this video. So be sure to stick around so that you can get your thank you personally from me. Now, I'm going to get into the story of this realization. And part of my purpose in sharing it with you is that I think we all have these desires within us that sometimes we're having a hard time tapping into or figuring out what they might be and how we can actually achieve, I guess, what we might really want. And so I'm hoping by sharing my story, it might help you figure out if you have, one of these barriers in your life, and if it might help you figure out what truth you are not saying for yourself. So the first barrier, and this goes back a few years. So the first barrier is simply not having enough time for reflection. I started doing a daily video in 2017, and I did a daily video in 2017, I did a daily video in 2018, and until December 15th of 2019, I did a daily video in 2019. So I was super busy, and I hadn't built in time for me to really reflect and take time to figure out what I really wanted. And this caused me a lot of stress in 2019 because I had gotten myself so busy that I didn't feel like I could keep up what I was doing. And I loved my channel, I loved making ASMR, and I loved doing all of that. At the same time, I wasn't having time to reflect and figure out how that worked in with my future. Part of the reason that I had time to make as many videos as I did was because I was going to school, and I've always been a rather gifted student, and so it didn't take me a lot of time to truly excel at my studies. And so 2019 was a very stressful time for me because I was so busy, and I was really concerned about what's going to happen in 2020 when I can't keep doing what I'm doing. And among all of this, I didn't have time to reflect. I was so go, and so busy and, keeping myself busy with all these different things. I didn't have time to realize what I really thought. And so that is why at the beginning of last year, I took a break from my ASMR channel for about a month, and I put myself on a much less reduced time. I knew I had to figure out what I wanted to do into the future. And so the first thing I had to do was just really give myself more time for reflection to allow me to really delve deep and figure out what it is I really wanted. And that was scary for me because I loved doing daily videos and I loved getting in and just getting in there and making videos. And I have missed aspects of that, but I do really value that time I've had to reflect, to be able to make realizations that are really important for me and my life and the direction of this channel. So with that one, we'll now move on to my second barrier, and a lot of people will probably roll their eyes and think this can't really be a thing, can it? But it is very much a real thing, and if you are somebody who has this problem, it's a very real problem, and that is a fear of success. I don't really know exactly where this fear of success comes from. I think it may be linked to my dad. I think my dad, he made a lot of life choices around not being too successful, because I think he had fears over his kids being kidnapped or that sort of thing if he became really wealthy and that sort of thing. So I don't know if I've internalized something like that, if that's part of my fear of success. But I definitely have a fear of success, and that I worry about what will happen if I become successful. And it sounds silly, but it is a true fear, and I'm not the only person who deals with it. I've not been able to find a lot about it, but when I've read about it, I've known, oh, that is definitely me. And so that's something I actually still struggle with, but at least knowing and being able to identify that I deal with a fear of success has really helped me figure out how to try to not let it rule out my life, I guess, and to just say, okay, yes, I have a fear of success. I'm going to try and be successful anyway, I guess. So that barrier has been somewhat removed. There's more to be done, but we'll still cross it off. Now, my third barrier to the realization that I made, hair in my eye, is the audacity of this realization, I guess. It's to think that I am the type of person who could do this sort of thing. And so we're probably going to have to get into what the realization is. So part of what I realized, I was on 2 weeks of break from my research degree, and it was in August, and I was doing a lot with Edwina Mortensen. I'd just been go on my channel, just chugging away. And when that break was over, I was so sad that I was going to be going away from full-time on my channel. I really wanted to be able to continue that. I wanted to be able to spend basically all my time, or as much of my time as possible, on my channel. And that's when it kind of hit me over the head. I want to be a full-time YouTuber. You know, I want to be a full-time ASMRtist. I want to be able to do this full-time. And it was so obvious if you look over my time. I've been making videos since 2013, and the time investment that I've put into my channel has just increased and increased and increased. And part of the reason I wanted to put less time into my channel was so that I could put more time into individual videos. I mean, if you've seen my breakfast video, that took 6 weeks of work for that one single video. And I've been working on another project, which is why we have this up because I've got my setup all changed around, so I had to whack something up to obscure what's behind. But it was then that I realized I want to use YouTube full time. And part of the things that I think kept me from that realization is that it feels audacious to me. It feels like, girl, do you really think you can do that? It just feels really audacious to me. But I think as I've toyed with it and come to that realization, I've thought, well, yeah, that really is what I want. And I love when I've had those little pockets of time where I've been able to devote all my time to my channel. It's some of my favorite, most creative times. And so I do want to build that, and I want to create more of that. And so my next community video, which will be at the end of the month, I'll be talking about my 5 ideas for how I think we can potentially achieve that. So I'll be looking for your feedback on that. And there are 3 I don't think are very viable, but we'll discuss those. But the last 2 barriers were very significant barriers for me, and a large part of the reason that it took me so long to make this realization, because I think probably I've wanted to go full-time on YouTube since sometime in 2018, 2019. I've been doing it long enough. I've made videos so often that I knew I love this, I want to do this. I just need to be able to make money doing this, basically. And so that is kind of gets into our 4th barrier, which was that I didn't, and I still don't, want to lose the intimacy that I have here on my channel. When I put out a video, I feel like I can interact with you. I feel like my audience, that you are very accessible to me. My tinglings, you're right there. I know who you are. I talk to you in the comments. I have a good idea of what's going on with some of you. And I look at the comment sections for, GB, gentle whispering, even whispers read ASMR. Some of these ladies who I love and really respect for their ASMR. And it's not what I want. I want this to be able to feel like a boutique, a close and connected community. And so that's a large part of why I've never wanted to lose that. And so I think I've always thought that that's a natural barrier to actually being full-time on YouTube. And it's actually Tim Schmoyer and video creators who have helped me break down that barrier. Not spoken to me specifically or anything like that. It's purely to do with them talking about YouTubers who have small subscriber bases who are able to do it full-time. And I think as I've actually run the numbers on a few different scenarios, which will be more in our next video again, but as I've been like, oh, actually, this probably would be doable if I'm focusing in on my current viewers and trying to build something that would be very satisfying and enjoyable for all of these people who love me already. That's probably the best place for me to focus. And so being empowered with that has empowered me to think that I don't have to sacrifice that boutique, intimate feel of my channel in order to go full-time, that I can have it both ways, I guess. And so the help of video creators and just the belief that that can be done. from, people who actually work in the business with a lot of different creators may really help me smash that barrier. But the final barrier actually goes back to this book that I read back in 2012 called Your Money or Your Life. And they talk about diversifying income streams and how you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket, and you can look at all these different revenue streams. And it can make you more flexible as far as jobs go, and it can make it so it's not such a big hit if you have a problem in one area of income in your life, basically. So I really liked that idea. And so I feel like I got myself trapped in this idea that I could only get a part-time income from it. And gave myself a little bit of destination disease, where basically putting a limit on what I might be trying to achieve, and so not really even achieving that. I've not ever made any dollars on my channel. I've $100 in the negative right now, even though I have 35 years of watch time and almost 3 million views. So anyway, we'll talk about how I'm thinking about addressing that next time. So, but by thinking about it in terms of part-time income, I really think I've not made it any easier for myself. So next time we'll be talking about more of the how, and I would love your input in assessing, I guess, my different options on how to potentially achieve that. I have 2 that I think are the better options, but we'll go through 3 less than stellar options as well. And there's some that just aren't realistic for an ASMR channel. It's not really an agency type thing. Anyway. So, now we come to the time of the video. This is a community video, so I'm going to be thanking the commenters who took my challenge. And I would also invite you, so if you haven't seen my Can Commenting on this video, Change Your Life video, go watch that. And if you have seen it and haven't completed the commenting challenge, this is your reminder to do that. I can guarantee that the little lips will be saying your name out onto a video on YouTube just by doing that commenting challenge. And let me tell you, it is one of my best ASMR triggers, is hearing somebody say my name specifically. So, highly recommend. So, let us think. It was such a great experience doing that video. So many amazing people. We got to meet so many people. So if you want to meet other tinglings, it's a great little spot. So first, thank you, Elizabeth Snyder. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Margie Handler, an old classic on my channel. She's been here forever and she's amazing. Thank you, Margie. Thank you to Carmen D. Got to meet her and know more about her. It was great. As was it to meet Ricky McKnight. Thank you so much for doing this challenge. And I have 2 people that I want you to go over and show some love. Show them that they're little halting steps to test to see if this comment could change their life. Go over and show them some love. Show them that it was worth it for them to do so. So we have B.M. Racine, who said, "Can it?" So let's show them. Yes, it can. And then the other person we'll get to in a moment, but A thank you to Snowflingen 85. It was really cool to get to know her more. She's commented a few times before, but great to get to know her better. And potentially, so Miriam Shackett said, potentially this could change his life, so let's go over. Let's try and brighten Miriam Shackett's day. Thank you to Ami for completing. Amazing. Thank you to Brandon's ASMR. We have another ASMRtist, so maybe we want to go check Brandon out and see if his sort of ASMR jives with you. Thank you to Paula Kelly. Great to get to know you a little bit more. And thank you to Emily Campbell. Thank you all so much. Great to get to know you better. And again, go back on that video, do the commenting challenge. Our next community video that I record after that can have your name in it. So, thank you all so much, and I will see you